Are you trying to find a career that fits you? Do you want a career that you love, but you're just not sure where to start? My friend, I've got you. Nearly half of all American workers are dissatisfied in their job, and the average amount of time that a person stays at their job is only 4 years. Don't be a part of this statistic. Let's get you a career that fits the kind of life you want to have and that you will love for years to come. Keep watching and I'll show you the 3 steps to make it happen. Welcome to episode 15. My name is Crystal Sale. I help professionals that hate their job find freedom, fulfillment, and a career that works for them. So if you're new here, get subscribed so you stay in the know on brand new episodes and free resources that I put out just for you. So step 1, we want to start with some self-reflection. So to find a career that fits you, you really need to know who you are and what you're actually interested in. So let's start there. I'm going to give you a bunch of questions to ask yourself. I want you to journal your answers to these questions, meditate on them. You really want to dive deep into what really makes you tick. So the first thing you want to think about is, what do you really enjoy learning about? Because as you move throughout your career, you're going to constantly be learning new things. And so if you like to learn about it, it's going to be a lot easier for you in the long run. You also want to think about what topics you speak about with a lot of emotion. So whether that's a lot of passion and excitement or even anger, all of these will help you pinpoint what you are extremely passionate about. So even if it triggers anger, this is a good thing because it means you're fired up about it. It means it's something that you can dig into and really work on for the rest of your life. You also want to think about, do you like to work with your hands, or are you more of like a thinker, a problem solver? Do you like to sit and think about solutions to problems? And then consider what work that you do that doesn't really feel like work. So in other words, what could you do all day long that you lose complete track of time? You forget about lunch, you don't hear your phone ring, you don't hear the kids in the background. Like, what is it that you do that just is like, you'll wake up all of a sudden and it's like 5 hours later? I want you to think about that and think about exactly what you're doing when you're doing that task. And then think about, what is it about that task that you love? So you really want to dive into the details and get specific about what it is you love about that task. You also want to know what your priorities are. So is family important to you? Is travel important to you? Do you put status on a pedestal, or do you want to have a lot of nice things? What is it that is important to you? So these are just a few of the questions that I have for you. There's a ton more that I have for you over on the blog episode. So go to crystalasale.com/15 or click the link in the show notes below and head to that episode. You'll get all the questions and make sure you answer those and really think about what it is that you want. Another good tip is to take some self-assessment tests, right? So either a personality test or career tests. Both of these are really going to give you a deeper insight into yourself. It kind of helps you, like, you know yourself, right, to an extent, but you have a very microscopic view of yourself. It kind of helps to get you to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. That's what these personality tests and the career tests do. So I really like numerology. I kind of got a little obsessed with it when I first learned about it. Numerology is the study of numbers and how they influence our lives. So there's different numbers and how you calculate them based on things like your birthday and your name. And so they tell you different things about yourself, like what you're here for, what you want in life, what your personality is, what you're good at. These are all things that numerology is really good at telling you. I personally bought a book on numerology. I would just go to Amazon and look for a book on that. You can also look online. I just didn't have any good resources for that to give you, but just Google it. Myers-Briggs is another good personality test. And that is the one where there's the 16 personality types. So you have the introvert versus the extrovert, or the thinker versus the feeler. It's also sensing versus intuiting, and judging versus perception. There's another fifth one that some sites do, which is assertive versus turbulent, which kind of it gives you the idea of whether you're more of a black and white kind of person or you really see things as a grayscale. So taking this, same thing, can give you just a better picture of yourself and who you are. It also gives you some great information on career potential and that kind of thing. The third one is the Enneagram. I feel like all of these tests are very, very accurate. It's crazy that they're all so different, but they really give you good insight into yourself. The Enneagram has 9 personality types with an associated wing. And it not only gives you more insight into yourself, but it also helps you kind of work with other people and see how you can work with them and relate to them. The last one I recommend is Human Design, which is a system that draws on astrology, the chakras, I Ching, and some other ancient traditions. And so this one is a little bit more complex, so it's a little bit harder to understand. You really have to kind of dig deeper into it, but it gives you a really good picture. It gives you a good map of who you are and what you're about. I also really like that one. It's a little more involved and difficult to understand all of the aspects of it. I'm going to give you links to each of those tests below, so check the show notes for those. Taking career tests is another good way to kind of give you ideas on what you might be good at or what you might be interested in, but I don't recommend that you take those too seriously. Really look more at like the skills and the traits of each of those jobs rather than the job itself. So for example, when I take those tests, I always get a lot of analyst type jobs, like accounting type things, and that just sounds completely horrible to me. So there's just no way I want to have anything to do with that. But what you can take from it is that maybe I am detail oriented, and so something where details are important might be a good fit. So kind of take a look at it in that way and not necessarily like the job itself. And then you want to think about what careers combine the answers to your self-reflection questions with the traits from your personality and career tests. So make a list of like what some of those careers might be. Now you also want to look into your long-term work and life goals, right? So you want to think about where you're going to be in 10 to 15 years from now. I encourage you to meditate on this for a few minutes and then take like 10 to 15 minutes and just write out what your perfect life looks like 10 years from now. What are you doing? What does your personal life look like? What does your work life look like? What does that perfect scenario look like to you? You want to think about things like, what are your career goals? Are you happy being a manager, or are you somebody that really wants to get to the top of the company and be like super successful? Or do you want to travel a lot? And then in that case, I mean, do you want to travel for work or do you want to travel for vacation? Because those are two completely different types of travel. So those are also things you want to think about. You want to think about if you want to own your own home, or maybe you want to start a family. So these are all like thinking about your long-term goals in life and work is going to be really important in the next step. So if you've gone through this and you're still not exactly sure what you want, but you know you want a flexible career that you can start today, you want to start something where you don't necessarily need any experience, where you can get step-by-step instruction and guidance the entire way, where you decide how far you want to take it, whether that's $1,000 a month or $100,000 a month, where you can start a business for less than the cost of your weekly groceries. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? Girl Scout promised that it's not, and now is the exact right time to start. So go to crystalasale.com/15 or click that link in the show notes and let me know if you're interested so I can give you the full scoop on how to get started. So we've talked a lot about jobs, but finding a career that fits you doesn't necessarily mean a job. So let's explore the different career paths that you can take. So first we have the traditional job. This is where you wake up, you go to work, you work for a specified amount of time, and then you come home. This is where you have a boss. So this is anything from like a secretary, a construction worker. This could even be a doctor or a lawyer where you have a boss. So we're going to look at the pros and cons of each of these. So the pros, let's look at the pros for a traditional job. This is going to be stability in income. You're usually going to have some kind of benefits, some health benefits, or like a 401k. Usually you can come home and not think about work. It's easier to build relationships. Ultimately, the responsibility doesn't fall on you, it falls on the company. So those are all great, but there are some cons. Typically, you're going to have lower salary averages. There's a lack of flexibility and a limit to your growth potential. There's also no autonomy. You are told what to do, and you have to do those things. Another career path you could take is freelance or consulting work. So it's your business, but you are working for someone. This could be anything like bookkeeping, writing, a photographer, a designer. Could be something where you streamline processes. This could be anything technology related like editing. Some pros to freelance and consulting work would be increased income potential. You have much more flexibility. You have more autonomy to do what you want to do. And you have a low overhead typically, unless you need some kind of specialized equipment. However, there are no benefits. You are typically not going to have a lot of income stability in the beginning, and your growth is dependent on your time, the amount of time that you're doing the work. You need to market to new clients, and you're responsible for all aspects of your business, not just what you're interested in. And typically, you need to have some kind of experience. You need to be able to show that you have results. And so having that experience can make it easier on you to get started. The third type of career path is a typical traditional entrepreneur. This is where you're selling a physical product or service. So examples of this would be like having a storefront, a restaurant, a cleaning business. These are all traditional type entrepreneur businesses. So again, you're getting an increased income potential here because you own that business, and so you're getting the profits. The pros of this type of business are an increased income potential again, but once you are established. You also have autonomy to decide what you want to do and how you want to run things. And there's high growth potential. You have plenty of places to keep moving and progressing. The cons, however, are typically you have a high overhead because you're paying rent, you're paying for staff, you're paying for equipment. You need to constantly market because you need to be able to pay all of those bills. You, again, are responsible for all aspects of the business. But you also have a lack of flexibility because you have established hours that you have to maintain. Usually you have a very poor work-life balance in the beginning until you're established, when you can hire personnel to kind of take over a lot of those duties. And then again, there's no benefits. You would have to provide your own benefits. So the last career path is a digital entrepreneur. This would be a product or a service that is entirely online. So these are things like affiliate marketers, anyone who has a digital product or course, software that is a service that you provide, or even e-commerce stores. These are all examples of an online entrepreneurship. What's good about this career path is that there's very low overhead and there's an infinite income potential. You also have a lot of flexibility and an infinite growth potential. You can kind of take it as far as you want to go. And you have, of course, a lot of autonomy. It's all about what you want to do when you want to do it. However, again, there are no benefits. There's typically a poor work-life balance until you're established and making good money. You have to stay on top of changing trends. You need to be able to market. And again, you're responsible for all aspects of your business. So now we're going to put everything together, right? So you want to review your answers to those self-reflection questions, the personality tests, the career tests, and your long-term work and life goals. Look at those and see what is an area of interest that you could see yourself in a career. Think kind of generally right now. Don't go too deep and don't too specific, but what would that career look like? Now compare them to the different career paths. Is there one that aligns with your goals better than another? And then create a list of career options. So let's do an example, right? So let's say we have Becky, and Becky loves learning about plants. She loves to grow in her garden. She loves learning new tips and tricks. She could do that all day long. Becky likes to work with her hands. She likes to get out there and be outside and working in her garden. She likes to be outside working rather than sitting behind a desk. Her priority is family and having stability in order to provide for them. Her long-term goals are to own her own home and to start a family. She doesn't really need to be at the top of her company, just as long as she's really enjoying what she's doing. So when you piece all of that together, Becky might consider a job with the Department of Agriculture or as a forest ranger for maximum stability. She could also look into work as a geographer or a landscape architect because they're all working outside. Let's look at Becky again, but this time, let's say her priority is spending time with her family and travel. She doesn't want to spend her life under somebody else's thumb. She wants to be able to do what she wants. She wants to be able to make good money so she can take care of her kids and give them the best life possible and spend time with them. So in this case, a traditional job would not be a good fit for Becky. She should consider a career path that gives her more time freedom, but also gives her a solid income potential. So this would be something like digital entrepreneurship. She could create a course on how to start a garden or how to start homesteading. She could even do affiliate marketing for various garden companies. So hopefully that helps give you an idea of how to do that process. The idea here is to combine your interests, something that you won't likely get tired of doing for the rest of your life, with a plausible career. So when you come up with your list, let me know in the comments below. Or if you get stuck and you need some help, put that in the comments too, because maybe we can help you jog some ideas loose. So the last step is you want to really see if there is even a demand for this kind of career. You can start by doing some industry research and checking some market trends. You can check resources like the Bureau of Labor Statistics for reports on different market trends. You can also look for industry reports from market research firms. These reports will often tell you the market size, growth rate, and the future outlook for different careers. You can also look at job postings to see what is out there on the market. If there are a lot of job postings, then likely there's a high demand for that career. You can also look at salary surveys where high salaries can indicate a high demand and competition for skilled professionals in that area. You might also look at the Occupational Outlook Handbook. This is another resource from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that gives you detailed information on job outlook, required education, and industry growth. So I have a whole list of more things you can do to research demand on different careers. So I want you to head over to the blog episode at crystalacale.com/15. Go ahead there and you can get the entire list there. Finding a career that fits you is absolutely doable with some digging and research on your part. So to recap the process, number one, do some self-reflection. Answer the questions that I gave you, really dive in, dig deep, and try to determine those real, solid answers to those questions. Don't just jump on an idea that sounds like the best idea. I can tell you from experience, this is not a good idea. It does not work for long-term sustainability and happiness. So, for example, I at one point thought, okay, maybe chiropractic isn't the issue, right? I hated being a chiropractor, but I thought maybe it wasn't chiropractic, it was that I was working for someone. And so I went through this whole process of starting my own mobile practice. And I got to the point where I actually had to start taking clients, and I was like, this is not what I want to do. So just because it sounds like it might be a good idea, really, really think about long-term, is this what you want? Don't just jump on an idea. So the second step is to decide what career path is really right for you and your goals. So if income stability is really important, then maybe a traditional job is what you really want. Or if you're really looking for freedom, then freelancing or digital entrepreneurship might be the right fit for you. And third, do your research. Look at the job market and look at the long-term sustainability. Look at the job market and make sure there's a demand and some long-term stability there. Don't go rushing into a career that's looking to go into automation in the future. You're not going to last there long. Take your time with this process, so don't feel the need to rush. I definitely have jumped around in my career. I've been all over the place. I actually graduated from undergrad with a chemistry degree, and I worked in a lab for 2 years before I decided that I wanted to be a chiropractor. And obviously, I decided that I hated that job too. So I jumped around a lot and just kind of went with what sounded good. Do not do that. It's completely okay if you are questioning everything at 40, but I really, truly wish I had stopped and taken the time to figure it out from the beginning. And if you are 40-something and you agree with me on that, let me know in the comments. Let me know I'm not alone. So again, take your time and don't rush this. But if you really have no idea what you want to do, but you know you want a flexible career that feels fulfilling, if you're looking for step-by-step guidance on how to be successful so you can start earning money ASAP, but you're not trying to break the bank to get started, then we need to chat. Just head to crystalacale.com/15 or click that link in the show notes below. Click that big orange button and let me know you're interested in learning more. And don't forget to let me know in the comments what career you found that fits you. All right, my friend, if you found value in today's video, let me know in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. And if you know somebody who would find value in this as well, please go ahead and share it with them. And make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.